Enterprise sales is known for its complexity, its long sales cycles, and for the multiple buyers that you have to have as a part of that process. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to a foundation of trust and whether that buying committee trusts that you and your team will be able to deliver the promise that you're making. And how we build that trust has shifted significantly over the last 10 years and really gone on fast forward post COVID over the last 5 years. Today, I want to focus in on exactly why you need to use thought leadership as a part of your enterprise sales strategy to be able to build that foundation of trust and authority and speed up those incredibly long sales cycles. My name is Emma Roloff, and the first decade of my career was spent in an enterprise software sales role. And over that time period, I sold tens of millions of dollars worth of software and services. And one of my major tools was thought leadership and content creation online. And specifically, my content on LinkedIn gave me the opportunity to sell the company's largest deal time and time again.
If you liked today's video, be sure to like it, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss future content. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We personally respond to them and we love talking to you.
The first thing that I want to dive into goes back to the beginning of this conversation where I mentioned the idea of trust. The foundation that we have to build as a part of enterprise sales has traditionally been done through relationship building, which we certainly don't throw out the window when we bring thought leadership in. But now we get to look at building trust in a different way and think about scaling those tools that we always had at our disposal. So yes, you can meet people at events. You can get referrals from your favorite clients. All of those things are incredibly valuable, especially when it comes to having the authority that's needed with these large multi-million dollar sales. But when we look at what we're able to do with content creation, we're able to tap into building that trust at a completely different scale than we've ever had available to us in the past. And when you adopt our favorite teacher framework as a part of your content strategy, and you focus in on creating educational content that helps your clients understand how to solve their problems and really help them reach that next level or that transformation that they'd be looking for you and your company to help them with, you start to build that trust before you ever get on that first phone call or meet them on the trade show floor. And what starts to happen is when you do a really great job of creating this educational content, you start to become one of your industry's favorite teachers. And all of those things that I mentioned before about referrals, people saying your name when you're not in the room, or being able to make introductions for you, all start to happen at a bigger scale. Because the more content that you're creating, the more people are learning from you, and the more that your network starts to grow. And you end up in conversations that you didn't even know were potentially going to be happening because of the content that you're creating.
I guess you already know me.
And beyond that, if you're using that educational content in the right way, you might have the opportunity to create demand for problems that people don't realize that they're experiencing, or maybe don't realize that there's a strong solution out there that can help them. So not only are you building that trust and that authority that's needed for a C-suite to sign on a multi-million dollar contract, but you're also creating demand that maybe you wouldn't have had the opportunity to work towards selling a deal for in the past. One of the things that a lot of people will talk about within enterprise sales cycles is these buying committees and how many people you have to work at building a relationship with. Content will help you with building that trust in those relationships across that larger audience as well. During an RFP process back when I was in my enterprise sales role, I created a video with every single RFP that I put out the door after I started creating content. It gave me the opportunity to build a personal relationship with everybody that saw my cover letter that was going along with it. And as I would go into demos and stuff like that to start introducing myself to that buying committee, I would get comments like, "Oh, well, we all know who you are because we saw that video."
Yeah, we know you.
And I would also strategically connect with people, assuming that it wasn't outlined that I couldn't in the RFP, so that they could continue to get this small drip of content from me and I could stay top of mind. And staying top of mind in these massively long sales cycles is reason number 2 that you absolutely need to bring content creation and thought leadership into your strategy. As I mentioned, I have sold tens of millions of dollars of software and services. And oftentimes those deals would go on for months and months before we could actually get the contract signed as we were working through all of the details and nuances. And I have one very specific vision in my mind of being in a boardroom and calling the CTO of a company that I had a $10 million deal on the table with. And he answered the phone by saying, "You actually just came across my LinkedIn feed, and I realized that I needed to give you a call back. So I'm glad that you called." Even when I wasn't doing follow-ups, my content was keeping me top of mind for this very important client who also has a ton of other priorities on their plate. And that nice little subtle kind of always there in your face message of content creation helps to keep you relevant throughout these long sales cycles when maybe you're hitting points of deliberation and you're not allowed to contact the client. If it's in an RFP process, well, if they're connected with you, they're seeing your value and your content show up on their feed. And over time, that starts to make a very big difference. And the staying top of mind isn't just for the buying committee or the people that are driving the decision as you have a deal on the table. Staying top of mind also plays a really big role in your prospecting efforts and making sure that you have a seat at the table to begin with. When we look at content creation, you are constantly talking about the problems that you see your customers having, the solutions that you might have, and helping educate people. But when they don't have a problem for you to solve, when you do a cold call, sometimes you just have to keep popping up with cold emails or cold calls or checking in with them at events. But when you create content, when that problem arises, you are top of mind as the person to help them solve it because they see you talking about it every single day. And they know that they can trust you to help solve the problem because you are showing up so consistently with that message that they know they can rely on you.
I think I trust you.
There's some subtle psychological pieces of showing up consistently online to build trust that we can go into in another video. Tell me in the comments if you'd like to see that. But the third piece that I really want to talk about is how content creation can make you better at your job. And the reason that I say this is this was an unexpected, pleasantly unexpected outcome of content creation for me when I was in my enterprise sales role. When you are doing enterprise sales, you oftentimes aren't hitting the phones the same way that somebody who has more of a transactional sale does. You're not practicing your pitch the same way. You're not necessarily getting into the deep conversations that you have as a part of a buying process at the beginning of the cycle towards the end, unless you're creating content. And when you're creating content and doing so consistently, you have to stay up to date on the news that's happening in your industry. You need to be learning about technology and things that are changing the dynamics at play within your sales cycle. And you need to be consistently making it clear what you do and the problems that you solve. And all of that research and staying up to date and continuous learning along with that practice makes those moments in a boardroom with the buying committee easy peasy because you've done it so many times. Your message becomes more natural. It's time tested. You have feedback from other people about your ideas and you know that they're strong. And it allows you to show up with a different level of confidence when you walk into that room so that again, you're reinforcing that trust that they have already built with you because of the content that you're creating and because of all of these different dynamics that come together. You've built the trust, you're staying on the top of their mind, and then you have really honed in on your message and you're able to deliver it flawlessly. So there is no question about your ability to execute because you are an expert in your industry and you've become their favorite teacher to learn from. If you've got questions about how to build an enterprise sales strategy that includes thought leadership, drop them in the comments, and we personally respond to all of them. So we'd love to have a conversation with you about that. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out our videos on our favorite teacher framework, which spell out exactly how to build educational content and a sales funnel that allows you to become everybody's favorite teacher.